Welcome back to the Oust series, where every story digs deeper into the dark roots of a curse woven into the very land. Today, we travel over 400 years into the past, to a time when this land was fresh and belonged to a poor widow and a beloved daughter. When the daughter fell in love with a prince, their love was a secret destined to end in tragedy. Betrayed and torn apart, their story unleashed a powerful curse, one that would forever haunt the land, demanding sacrifices to feed its rage. Join me as we unravel the origins of this cursed ground in the ancients. In a village untouched by the passage of time, a poor widow and a daughter lived modestly but joyful on a fertile stretch of land. The widow was known for her kindness and skill as a healer, often providing aid to villagers who could not afford medicine. Her daughter, a striking beauty with a gentle spirit, was a pride and joy. The widow's daughter often wandered into the village where her radiant presence captivated many. Among those who noticed her was the young prince of the land. The prince, confined to a life of duty and luxury, found solace in her simplicity and grace. Though he was royalty, he yearned for something real and untainted by his family's cold ambitions. The prince and the daughter met by chance in a secluded farm where the daughter often gathered herbs for her mother. Over time, these meetings became frequent, evolving from fleeting glances to shared laughter, whispered secrets, and tender moments. In their hidden world, the prince shared his crown and titles, and the daughter found the love she had only dreamed of. Their love bloomed like the flowers in the farm. They would spend hours together, speaking of their dreams, oblivious to the divide between their worlds. For the daughter, the prince represented a life beyond poverty and struggle. For the prince, she was a reminder of the beauty and goodness he rarely saw in his own family. One night, under the starlit sky, they shared a moment so intense and pure that it bound them together. But fate had other plans. The daughter soon discovered she was with child, and though fear gripped her heart, she knew she had to tell the prince. When she revealed the news to him, he was overjoyed, vowing to protect her and the child at any cost. The prince's happiness was short-lived. Word of his secret meetings reached the king and queen, who confronted him. When he tried to defend his love, his parents grew cold and stern. To them, the prince's affair with a commoner was nothing short of a betrayal of their bloodline. They could not fathom their future grandchild being born from what they deemed common blood. Determined to maintain the royal purity, they warned the prince to end the affair and demanded that he abandon the girl and their unborn child. But the prince refused, defying their wishes for the very first time in his life. Furious, the king and queen saw his defiance as a threat to their control. They knew they had to take drastic measures to erase the girl from their lives and from history itself. In secret, the queen sought out a very powerful sorcerer known for his mastery of death curses. She offered him riches in exchange for a spell that would quietly end the girl's life and that of her unborn child, ensuring that neither would ever trouble the royal family again. The sorcerer agreed, creating a deadly curse that would slowly drain the girl's life. The queen, feeling triumphant, believed the spell would erase the problem without leaving any trace. Soon after, the girl fell gravely ill. Her strength waned, her cheeks lost their color, and her once bright eyes dulled. The prince, seeing her, was horrified. He cared for her tirelessly, vowing that he would protect her and their unborn child. Yet, despite his efforts, he grew weaker each day. In her final moments, the daughter lay in the prince's arms. She whispered her love for him, tears filling her eyes as she reached for his face, feeling the warmth that was fading from her own body. She asked him to remember her, to remember their love, even if the world would never know it. As she drew her last breath, the prince felt his soul shattered. Enraged and heartbroken, he confronted his parents, accusing them of killing his beloved. When they denied it, he saw in their eyes the cold satisfaction of a plan executed without remorse. Realizing that he had lost not only his love but his family's humanity, the prince could not bear the life they had planned for him. Consumed by grief and guilt, he returned to where she laid, the last place where he had known true happiness. In a final act of despair, he took his own life beside her, determined to join her in death. Their blood mingled on the earth, sealing their love in a bond that even death could not break. The widow, who had gone in search of her daughter, arrived at the farm to find the bodies of her child and the prince lying side by side. Her heart broke, but then her sadness turned to fury. She realized that the royal family, whom she had once admired, had destroyed her only happiness. In her grief, she placed her hands on the blood-stained earth and invoked an ancient curse, channeling all her sorrow and anger into the land itself. With her last ounce of strength, she cried, "Let this land bear witness to the injustice my daughter and her child have suffered. May it consume those who walk upon it. May it demand retribution from all who have taken what I loved." A curse spread through the earth, infecting it with an anger that could only be appeased by the sacrifice of life. As her voice faded, the curse solidified, bound to the soil by blood, and with it, a hunger for vengeance and justice that would span centuries. In the years that followed, the curse afflicted the village with untold suffering. Crops withered, livestock died, and the villagers were plagued by disease. The royal family too began to suffer, their once prosperous lineage crippled by illness and tragedy. No male heirs would survive beyond infancy, and the family's wealth was drained by failed harvest and disease. Desperate, the royal family and villagers sought help from a powerful priest who mediated on the curse and sought to lift it. But the priest warned them that the curse was deep, bound by blood and death, and could only be appeased by a willing sacrifice on the land where the widow's daughter had died. Thus, a new, darker ritual was born. Every decade, a family had to be sacrificed on the cursed land to keep the curse's anger subdued. The royal family agreed to bear the responsibility, ensuring that the family would be sacrificed every 10 years, a duty that became their legacy. As years passed, the cursed land remained a source of fear and tragedy, each new family lost becoming part of its dark history. To aid in luring sacrifices, a grand house was built on the land and families were drawn to it with enticing gifts and generous offers. Over centuries, it claimed countless lives, each sacrifice appeasing the curse for a time but never ending its hunger. By the time Derek and Bliss arrived in 1990, the house was well accustomed to claiming its sacrifices, but this time was different. Though Derek perished in the house, Bliss, aware of the house's sinister secrets, fought to protect her child. She escaped, though grievously wounded, with a newborn son, determined to break the cycle. Bliss's escape, though fatal, denied the house the full sacrifice it demanded. The curse, deprived of its ritual offering, grew wild and unpredictable. The house began taking anyone who dared enter it, its anger unrestrained and insatiable. As Bliss's son grew, he remained unaware of the burden he carried. The pendant he wore held the final words of the widow's curse and the power to end it. The land's curse could only be lifted if Bliss's descendants and the royal family united, their blood mingling once more to bring justice to the lost souls bound to the house. For now, however, the house waits, haunted by the widow's curse and still bound by its ancient anger, watching patiently for its next visitor. As the widow's curse took root, the land began its relentless cycle of blood, demanding a young family every decade to ease the spirits trapped within. But the cycle was finally broken by Bliss in our last chapter, a child escaping the fates meant for him. Now the house has become wild, a relentless predator seeking new lives to consume. Only one chance remains to end this ancient curse, hidden within the bloodlines of Bliss's family and the royal descendants. Stay tuned for the next chapter of the House series as the battle between lights and darkness nears its climax. If you enjoyed this story, remember to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.